Hello, this is Alex Milstead. I'm in Dr. UCHE's MERA 466 Strategic Management class, and this is my strategic analysis over Clarksons PLC. Horst Clarksons and Leon Brenham founded the company in 1852 in London, England. They strive to be an internationally focused business to provide integrative shipping services. The 50s brought diversification to the company with office expansions overseas. Their first one was located in New York, and then they had an office in France, Australia, Germany, South Africa, Greece, and eventually Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Singapore. After that, Clarksons began publishing their annual directory of the world tanker fleets, which led to the development of their research services, which is still offered today. Now, Clarksons is known to be one of the top providers of global shipping intellect. Some monumental moments for Clarksons was celebrating their 30th year anniversary in 2011 for maintaining successful relationships with Asia, as well as Clarksons' own 160th anniversary in 2012. The most recent success of Clarksons was their acquisition of RS Plateau ASA in 2015 for a total of 281.2 million euros. According to the acquisition, approximately 1,400 people in 21 different countries would be employed, as well as the London headquarters would be turned into the leading global shipping and offshore service business. Clarksons has remained a powerhouse competitor within the maritime transportation and logistics industry and will only continue to grow and prosper as the times change. The purpose of this study is to conduct an external and internal analysis to identify strategic issues in Clarksons, to then develop a strategic plan for the organization. The study is going to take an in-depth look into Clarksons and evaluate how well they operate within the maritime shipping, transportation, and logistics industry. Clarksons will be compared to some of the top competitors in the industry, and its competitive powers will be compared among rival organizations. This study will shed some light on Clarksons' current position and help better determine where the company should head in the future with the information provided. The external analysis covers 6 key points: the general environment analysis, the industrial analysis, the 5 forces analysis, the driving forces analysis, the competition analysis, and the key success factors of this industry. The purpose of the general environmental analysis is to determine the level of impact each segment has to the maritime transportation and logistics industry. The graph provided shows that each segment has a high level of impact to the maritime transportation and logistics industry. The demographics in the maritime transportation and logistics industry do not solely depend on people. Product and location accessibility are the key factors in determining the demographics of this industry. It's all dependent on location of cargo and the accessibility of a vessel. There are also certain countries that choose not to operate with each other, which is a determinant of the demographics within this industry. Because this industry is spread across the globe, the demographics are so diverse, which can have a very high impact to the industry. From a trader's perspective, the wide range of demographics can be a positive thing, but logistically it can be a struggle. Next, we have the economic segment. The market in the maritime transportation and logistics industry is highly cyclical. Therefore, the Baltic Exchange is used as the backbone of the maritime information. But the Baltic is more than just an information provider. It provides self-regulation in chartering, sale and purchase, and freight derivative market. The 4 overall markets within the industry are the new build market, the freight market, the sales and purchase market, and the demolition market. The cash flow generated within these 4 markets is what keeps this industry going. Economic supply and demand ultimately control this industry, which is why the economic segment has such a high impact to the industry. Next, we have the political and legal segment, which is also a high impact to the maritime transportation and logistics industry. Politics can affect everyday operations within the industry, and typically companies have offices all across the nation. That's why maintaining political awareness is so important to succeed. There's also a lot of government involvement within this industry, which can be positive or negative depending on how you look at it. But these combined factors are the reason why the political and legal segment has such a high impact to the maritime transportation and logistics industry. Next, we have the socioculture segment. The socioculture segment of the maritime transportation and logistics industry is spread out globally across many nations. Due to the high variety of cultures within the industry, the social values are different among regions. Therefore, the level of understanding different social norms among nations is beneficial to the maritime transportation and logistics industry. And therefore, the socioculture segment has a high impact to the shipping industry because the bargaining power of buyers is so strong. Next, we have the technological segment. The technological advances in the maritime transportation and logistics industry have evolved over the years to help this industry run more effectively. Without these technological advances, this industry would not be where it is today. Computers and softwares have also changed the way information can be provided throughout this industry as opposed to how it used to be. Everything is real time and real updates. Because technology is constantly advancing, it does have a high impact to the maritime transportation and logistics industry. Lastly, we have the global segment. The economic desire for globalization has truly brought this industry to where it is today. The demand for foreign goods has increased with global production, which in turn creates a demand for vessels to transport their cargo. Globalization leaves lasting high impacts to the economy. With globalization, countries are able to specialize, allowing businesses to outsource their production of goods, which results in positive impacts for all combined parties. Because of these factors, the global segment is also a high impact to the maritime transportation and logistics industry. All 6 of these segments efficiently at times work together. All of these segments have high impacts to the industry and each other. As one segment changes, it causes a ripple effect through the other. The demand of the maritime transportation and logistics industry will never disappear, and with efficient management and enhancements, companies within the industry will prosper. Next, we have the industry analysis, which will provide a detailed description of the industry as well as the dominant economic features involved. Also, the market size and growth rate will be assessed, followed by an evaluation of the industry trends. Description of the industry. This industry is highly competitive. International companies strategically position themselves to better coordinate the transportation of commodities throughout the world. This industry aids in connecting the producers with the consumers via maritime transportation. Next, the industry dominant economic features help develop. The dominant economic features that will be examined are the market size and growth rate as well as industry trends. Evaluating these features allows firms to remain relevant within the industry and dominate the market in which they operate in. Market size. Through globalization, the maritime transportation and logistics industry has become one of the largest industries in the world, providing a wide range of opportunities for any country or firm capable of entry. As reported by the UNCTAD, every nation participates in seaborne trade. Therefore, it is evident that the market size of the industry is extensive and will only continue to grow with time. Market growth. All the market segments within the maritime transportation and logistics industry are extremely volatile to world economic conditions, resulting in a fluctuating market growth throughout the segments. Overall, as GDP increases, each market segment within the industry experiences its own industry trends. One of the most evident trends at the moment is the rise and advancements of technology within the industry. For a firm to remain relevant, it must modernize with society. These technological advances help decrease the probability of human error, allowing shippers to work smarter, not harder. Advancements in technology provide a level of transparency to the industry, allowing opportunities for consumers to be more aware of the supply chain operations in the maritime transportation and logistics industry. Also, the industry is very cyclical due to Therefore, when the economy is in turmoil, the industry struggles, and vice versa. When the economy prospers, so does maritime transportation and logistics industry. These are the trends of the industry at the time. Next, we have the five forces analysis. The five forces analysis provides a framework to help successfully assess the strengths or weaknesses of an individual of an industry's competitive forces. As shown by the chart, the strongest forces are intensity of rivalry and power of suppliers. The moderate forces are threat of new entrants and power of buyers, and the weakest force is the power of substitutes. The threat of new entrants into the market is considered a moderate force due to the various levels of entry, but provided with all the right capital and resources, a potential new firm does have the ability to overcome these barriers, again, which is why this is a moderate force to the industry. Next, due to high switching costs and few suppliers actually being able to provide all the capital and resources needed to operate within the shipping and logistics industry, the bargaining power of suppliers is quite strong. The entire process of a voyage can be summed up through various forms and time logs that are calculated with the agreed upon times set up in the charter party to determine the overall expense and profitability of a voyage. Due to these combined efforts and all the human labor required to complete a voyage, the suppliers actually play a big factor in the profitability of the industry, resulting in a strong bargaining power of suppliers. The power of buyers within the maritime transportation and logistics industry is moderate due to the high number of buyers, yet low number of sellers providing a specific service or commodity with little differentiation. Buyers do have the ability to discontinue a contract and switch businesses to a different firm. Therefore, a seller must meet the buyer's expectations. But because of this, there is a trend of customer loyalty because sellers do try so hard to keep their customers. Therefore, as long as the voyage is successful, most charterers or owners continue using the same firms to negotiate their contracts and fixtures. Next, the power of substitutes is considered a weak force because air transportation is so uneconomical that shipment by ocean is the best means of transportation for global trade. It is possible to use trucking and rail for transportation, but they are landlocked, limiting them to domestic transportation only. Lastly, we have the intensity of rivalry. Within the shipping industry, there's a global shipping alliance that accounts for 81% of the global shipping market. Almost any company with the goal to ship cargo will have to utilize one of these. Some of these alliances' trade routes overlap, but companies within the industry have the opportunity to partner with different carriers within alliance or use multiple carriers from various alliances. Due to these factors, the intensity of rivalry is strong among the maritime transportation and logistics industry because each alliance has the ultimate goal of attracting the most firms to join their partnership. Next, we have the driving force analysis. Each industry has their own set of driving forces that push change and alter the competitive condition for companies and firms within the industry. For the maritime transportation and logistics industry, the driving forces are globalization, service excellence, sustainability, and technology. Each of these forces collectively act to make the industry more attractive and help determine what strategy changes are needed to prepare for the future impacts of these driving. Due to the positive economic impacts brought on by globalization, it's evident that companies within the industry should and will continue to extend services in foreign nations. Customers' demand for commodities will also always be present. Therefore, globalization within the shipping industry will really never disappear, which in turn will only fuel the market and lead to larger vessels being developed and more cargoes being delivered, which is why globalization is one of the first driving forces. Service excellence is the next driving force. Due to the increased competition as a result of globalization, high-quality service is required for firms within the industry to secure long-term clients and partners. With the shipping industry being so globalized, companies and firms have realized the value of investing in operational improvements with the goal of transparency and more reliability among competing firms. Because of this, the demand for service excellence is a driving force of change. Next, public pressure and demand for a green and sustainable shipping industry has pushed many sites to reduce energy consumption and pollution. The Sustainable Shipping Initiative, SSI, began in 2008 with the goal of providing information and bringing together major. These combined factors show why sustainability is a growing trend that companies and firms will need to aim towards in the foreseeable future. Lastly, technology will always be a driving force of change regardless of the industry. The practicality of instant communication and real-time supply chain digitalization has led to the modernization of the maritime transportation and logistics industry. Therefore, technology will always be a key driver of change no matter what industry it's pertaining to. Next, we have the competition analysis. In order for a business to succeed in developing a prosperous strategic plan, it must first analyze its external environment within the industry and examine the competitors which operate around it. The strategic group map is presented to visually represent the top firms competing in the industry. The graph is used to help visualize each top company's market share, prosperity, and dominance in the industry. A company must be completely familiar with the competitors surrounding it in its industry, which is the reason why a strategic group map is incredibly useful. These companies include BBA Aviation PLC, National Express Group PLC, Stagecoach Group PLC, Royal Mail PLC, and Go Ahead Group PLC. The most dominant and profitable firm within the maritime transportation and logistics industry is Royal Mail PLC. They also have a high level of vertical integration. The second highest ranked company following these criteria is Go Ahead Group. They have a lesser degree of vertical integration. Stagecoach, BBA, and National Express Group are extremely comparable, and they act as direct competitors with one another, nearly tying in annual sales 2018. Lastly, Clarksons earns the lowest annual sales of the top competitors, therefore representing the smallest portion of the graph. Clarksons offers relatively decent price quality, although it does make up a certain degree of vertical integration, this level is not comparatively high. The degree of vertical integration is optimal for firms because it gives them more power for quality control, reduces transportation costs, and long-term overall savings. It's advantageous for other competitors to follow Royal Mail's lead to reduce costs and maximize efficiency. Improving vertical integration is the most promising tactic in terms of profitability, efficiency, and consumer satisfaction. Considering the graph, it is clear that this specific industry is highly competitive and volatile. This high level of competition is largely due to the broad selection of companies in the industry with different degrees of specialized services, global ports and terminals, and technological advances. Firms need to enhance their products, strategies, services, specialized and intermodal connections to keep up with the competing firms in the industry. Next, we have the key success factors. There are 6 key success factors of the maritime transportation and logistics industry, which are essential to the prosperity of any company competing within it. These factors include adaptability, brand recognition, consumer awareness, rival anticipated awareness, service specialties, and vertical integration / intermodal access. Each of these factors is equally important in attaining success within the industry. Therefore, this information is beneficial to companies and aims to emphasize the most prosperous strategic modes, and competitive tactics. Next, we have an internal analysis, which will consist of an organizational analysis, analysis of firms' resources, a financial analysis, a SWOT analysis, and then a value chain analysis. The following organizational analysis will use McKinney's 7S framework to examine Clarksons' corporate mission, products and services, leadership team, organizational culture, structure, and strategy. Clarksons' corporate mission is largely centralized around diversity, integration, and globalization, with a goal of reaching a broad-scale customer base around the world. Their vision is as followed. We strive to provide the best in-class services to an even wider and increasingly diverse client base across all sectors of the shipping industry by providing those clients with unrivaled professionalism. Clarksons makes it clear that its core values will be reflected in every employee's behaviors, actions, and attitudes in the business. I can protest to this claim because I currently am an intern for this business, and they hold their values very seriously. Next, we have products and services. The most known services offered by Clarksons include its advisory and brokerage service, financial assistance service, freight forwarding and logistics, and port services. Clarksons also provides a small line of tools known as Gibb Tools and Supplies, which offer an extensive variety of specialized tools to the industrial and retail sector. Within its business segments, Clarksons' sources of revenue can be broken down into 4 groups: broking, financial, support, and research. The most profitable group is their broking section, which is totals 75% of the company's revenue. Though Clarksons does offer products, it's based on the examinations of all of these subjects, it is determined that Clarksons has a clear objective of providing services across many sectors of the maritime transportation and logistics industry. This company has many core values which is incorporated into its strategic plan, which includes integrity, excellence, fairness, and transparency. Clarksons' success in strategic planning is largely due to its advanced, innovative leadership team, which consistently aims to improve organization. The company's vision, mission, and actions reflect these core values and enhance the quality of the corporation. In addition, Clarksons has had an impressive line of specialized services and products unique to the industry demands it faces. The 2 main focuses of this company in particular are financial and brokerage services, which allow Clarksons to have a specialized expertise in these 2 subjects. The company's exceptional leadership team is also responsible for business experts and efficient strategic planning, led by CEO Andy Case. Aided by a highly qualified team of executive officers and the appointing board of directors, Case is able to guide the company towards success and profitability. The organizational culture of Clarksons is largely diverse and intricate, reflective of the customers and workforce around the world. Clarksons' structure and strategies are centralized around this diverse organizational culture, and thus practices a flat management style. This structure provides employees with direct access to the executive managers and regional directors to ensure effective communication, efficient organization, and convenient solutions when needed. Finally, Clarksons' strategy is focused on the following key aspects: breadth, reach, understanding, people, trust, and growth. These aspects are incorporated in Clarksons' objectives of expansion, progression, and integration. The preceding 6 components. Next, we have the analysis of the firm's resources, which consist of tangible resources, intangible resources, capabilities, and competence and advantages, as well as a VRIO, graph presented right there on the screen. Clarksons' resources are all valuable and necessary for the firm's long-term success and sustainable advantage. The four analyzed categories of resources include tangible, intangible, capabilities, and competence, displayed graphically using the VRO framework, which I just addressed. Clarksons' tangible resources include the global office, port, service locations, inventory, supplies, equipment, and building facilities. These resources are considered valuable, but the following category, intangible resources, are considered both valuable and rare. Clarksons' intangible resources include the intellectual and human capital, specialized services, and diverse organizational culture. The capabilities include Clarksons' brokerage expertise and financial proficiency, which are two of the company's top specialties and are thus difficult to imitate at this exceptional level. Lastly, the firm's competences, upon which the company is organizationally structured around, include its global connections, the charity committee, the GIB tools and supplies. Next, a financial analysis will be conducted. The point of this analysis is to evaluate Clarksons' financial-related entities to determine their profitability. When trying to determine a company's weaknesses or find their goals, it's imperative to conduct a financial analysis. The analysis will cover the valuation, growth, profitability, financial strength, and management efficiency of Clarksons to develop a better understanding of Clarksons' position within the maritime transportation and logistics industry. All of the data provided with this financial analysis came through Thomson One's financial report of Clarksons PLC. Through the financial analysis, we can determine any weak spots, excessive spending, and practical investments for the company. The financial investigation consisted of four subsections, which include the valuation analysis, profitability analysis, management efficiency analysis, and the growth analysis. Although the valuation analysis revealed fluctuating ratios, the trend in the graph indicated a potential rise in valuation for the subsequent years. The growth analysis demonstrated diverse growth, which indicates a potential need for strategic reevaluation with a priority in boosting sales and maximizing net income. In turn, this would generate larger earnings per share values for stockholders, thus increasing profitability and valuations simultaneously. Overall, it is valid to conclude that Clarksons' management efficiency is currently optimal, though there is always room for improvement, and the company should constantly aim to advance in virtually every aspect. In sum, Clarksons appears to hold a decent financial status with positive projections for future growth. Next, we have the SWOT analysis, which consists of the company's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. In the case of Clarksons, their strengths include broad brand portfolio, capitalizing in new markets, strong distribution networks, and a highly skilled and innovative workforce. Although Clarksons demonstrated many strengths, its weaknesses are equally important to examine because the company should seek to correct and improve these areas whenever it's possible. Amongst Clarksons' weaknesses are low market shares, low market relevance, relatively low sales growth, and low return to equity. Clarksons should also maintain awareness of its opportunities, which can be utilized to obtain strategic advantages against competitors. Opportunities available for this particular company include well-positioned within the industry, increases in seaborne trade, expansion of their global network, and investment in technology. Lastly, the final component of the SWOT analysis is threats, which should be accounted for and strategically avoided if possible. If anticipated correctly, a company can. The next is the value chain analysis. The value chain is assemblage of activities which are carried out by a firm with a goal of creating sustainable value for their customers. The first primary activity applied in this analysis is inbound logistics, which includes raw materials and finished goods, which enhance homes, factories, and ports worldwide. The second primary activity is operations, which entails Clarksons' facilities, equipments, maintenances, and quality assurance. These operations must function fluidly and flexibly to keep up with the market demands. The third primary activity in the value chain is the outbound logistics, which involves the outbound transportations of goods organized by the brokers at Clarksons. The fourth primary activity is marketing and sales, which in Clarkson's case is primarily a focus on professional relationship and partnership with suppliers and buyers. The fifth primary activity is services, which Clarksons offers with specialties in shipbroking and financial services. Clarksons constantly strives to improve, enhance, and expand their services to provide customers with the best possible experiences. The final component of the value chain is profit margins, which is essential for a firm because this provides value to customers, investors, and stakeholders. Maintaining knowledge of a company's profit margins is crucial in ensuring the activities and investments are paying off in the long run. These activities all correlate and must function interconnectedly in order for the company to succeed. The next part of the value chain analysis is the supporting activities and costs. The first supporting activity is procurement. Due to this business's structure as shipbroking services, Clarksons interacts closely with the companies involved in the procurement of offshore vessels and business transactions concerning operation development projects such as new and existing offshore field development activities. The second support activity is technology, which pertains to the development of technical equipment and knowledge within the business. This sector includes Clarksons' network of connections, which provides the company with an integrated system to connect customers with available vessels. The third component of this value chain is human resource management, which involves recruiting, training, hiring, and managing employees. Clarksons is highly dedicated to top-grade training, compensating and developing to improve its personnel. The final component of the value chain analysis is firm infrastructure, which consists of different activities including finance, quality assurance, and strategic management. This component, in combined with the other activities displayed on the page right in front of you, allows Clarksons to constantly optimize, strategize, and modernize its business strategies to reflect changing industry demands. As determined in the preceding analysis, the maritime transportation and logistics industry is incredibly volatile, complex, and unpredictable. This industry can be influenced by many external factors, including weather, economies, and market rates. In order to navigate fluctuations more efficiently, an external recommendation that each and every company should be a member of the Baltic Exchange is rational, and a large proportion are, but the organization itself could use improvements in its rate recordings. This can be achieved through improved technology, more effective communication, and increased accuracy of the index. Additionally, the industry should rebuild relationships with other industries related to increase the potential of mergers, partnerships, and expansions. For example, maritime transportation companies can integrate with land logistic organizations and air freight firms to optimize transportation through vertical integration. This can be achieved through simple communications between industries, potentially leading to improved relationships, economies of scale, and more efficient transportation networks. This sort of organization would also be more appealing to clients who would be able to trust one convenient, reliable company to take care of all their needs. This is a mutually beneficial relationship between the integration companies because it brings profits for both while stimulating the economy and improving delivery efficiency. And internal recommendations. Overall, it's established that Clarksons is in in decent financial, technological, and organizational conditions. However, there are various internal recommendations that can be made for the company to potentially improve these conditions within the organization. First, Clarksons could obtain smaller niche markets and put newly trained employees to work there. This would give newly hired trainees the chance to practice and gain valuable experiences in smaller scale markets while ideally earning some profit for Clarksons. In the long run, this could potentially save time and money for the company, as it would give a more practical training program and experience to new hires while earning profit for the company and operating in niche markets. Additionally, Clarksons has an exceptional IT system. However, internal improvements could be made within the system to further advance the company's technology. One method to achieve this goal is by performing monthly updates and yearly reorganizational consideration. This would ensure that anything within the system is up to date and constantly reflective of advancing technologies. Clarksons already has a strong IT system, but making these improvements would further strengthen its technological capabilities while providing a competitive advantage over inferior firms. Other firms are prone to falling behind if they do not advance technologically, which is the reason Clarksons should consistently prioritize the improvements of its system. Another way to reach this goal is by selling certain amounts of their system to clients while offering subscriptions to a paidly monthly system, which provides informative news to stay updated about market conditions. Clarkson could also take the opportunity to expand its technological services by providing an industry-wide direct messaging system, which would provide a platform to make potential business transactions, strategic partnerships, and improved relationships with the industry. Overall, Clarkson should continue to capitalize on its technological advances and attempt to seize new opportunities in the market to further maximize profitability.